Peace, family. Welcome to the Paradigms of Perspectives podcast. This is our first episode. I'm here with my boy Kobe, and we're gonna start off with some introductions first off before we get into the topic today. So, my name is Zay Applin from Atlanta, Georgia. Graduated from Newberry College. Did digital marketing. I'm an entrepreneur, and I do an array of different things. But we're gonna get into more of that later episodes and whatnot. So I'm gonna pass it over to my boy Kobe.
I'm Kobe Warrior. I'm from Fayetteville, Georgia. I went to Sandy Creek High School. Then took my talents to Morgan State University and went over to North Carolina Central to finish my master's. I'm actually still in school. So this is another thing that I'm trying to add to my resume, and I'm just happy to be here, man.
Absolutely. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. And we were talking about this the other day, Wednesday, right? And we talk about how a lot of dudes don't understand how important it is for their building years, right? So and one of the biggest thing is, like I told a lot of guys that had me up, is the basis of it is staying out the way, which a lot of guys don't really know how to do. They think they need to be in the fun to think everything is going right for them. But what they don't understand is that early 20 years, those are years for your building years. So what's your thoughts on that, with guys not understanding how important the building years is? Because we both in that same range of 23, 24. So we kind of in that same phase of our life.
So the kind of lame term is staying out the way, but what it's really doing is you're focusing, you're honing in on your focus and what you want to do and where you want to be, not only at the moment, but later on in life. I think for me personally, I always, and I get a lot of flack from this, but I try to look 5-10 years ahead of time and what I want my life to look like then. So it's more so how you want it to be set up and making sure that your focus and your fun is aligned to that. Right. Not saying you can't just
exactly
be outside and like the young folks do. I mean, I'm young, but the young folks do be outside, and you can do those things, but everything is in moderation.
Mm-hmm. Balance.
And so having the balance and having the correct, I'd say, set group of people around you to help you focus, and those friends that you think are friends.
Hey, there we go. That's a bar.
Those friends that you think are friends, making sure they're aligned in your path and where you see yourself in a few years as well.
And that's 100, because one of the biggest things that we've experienced is the people you have around you. It kind of molds your circumference, your reality in a sense, because you can have a certain type of thoughts, you can be doing a certain type of things, but if the people around you not having those same caliber thoughts, not doing the same type of actions, it can throw you off your path, and you start thinking, oh man, I'm doing everything right, but you're not monitoring it and looking at what the people around you doing. So whatever you're doing, it's just as important as the people that's around you. We've seen this firsthand, people doing their thing, but the people around them, they end up crashing out because the people that was around them crashing out.
Exactly. And the biggest thing to me is, like you said, just having those people around you to kind of help you hone into those things that you say you want, that you feel you want, what you may be into later on in life. Maybe not 5 years, maybe that's too far for some people, but where you might want to be in a month or so. Right. I think setting SMART goals, and for people that don't know, that those are basically periodic goals to where you are making sure that you're getting those things done in the time frame that you're giving yourself. So a SMART goal can be something that you maybe do for a week, maybe do for a couple of days to see how it goes. I know from my experience, 18 days, you can set a habit. So set something that you could do in 18 days, and you wake up and do those things every single day, and then you'll see the stuff that you don't really care about start to fade away.
Facts.
And it's very hard for young people to see because, again, we're on social media.
The age we in, bro. It's crazy the age we in, bro. Like, everybody think, oh, if I can't get it right, then in that instant, oh, it can't happen for me. But it's delayed gratification. I was telling my homeboy the other week, everything about a man's life is based around delayed gratification.
Exactly.
Because like we were saying the other day, a guy, if he wastes early 20s, it's harder for him to come up on the back end as opposed to, a young lady, she wastes her early 20s, she might come up on the baller. I'm not saying it's a for sure, but it's a higher possibility. So everything about a man's lifestyle is based around delayed gratification. And a lot of guys, they get so caught up in our whole generation, but just speaking more towards guys, they get so caught up in that instant gratification. Oh, I gotta have it now, I gotta have it now. It's the microwave success society, like you said, just people just think everything's supposed to happen right now, and that's just not the case.
It's not the case at all. And just it's not. It can't be microwave. You can't put it in the microwave for 30 seconds and what they say? You got racks now. You got a nice car. You got the penthouse. Man, it's a grind phase. You got to fall in love with the process.
I'm telling you
of everything in life. I recently just bought a new car.
Yeah, you just telling me about that. Yeah,
just bought a new car. Something went wrong with it in less than 2 weeks.
Right.
But that's a process. That's not like I can't look at. The Instagram pages of the young 20-year-olds with Hellcats and track hawks. Right. I can't. That's not my lifestyle. Exactly. That's not my path. It's not your reality.
That's
not my reality. Exactly. So I'm going to play that card some dealt every time.
So even with you saying you had got the whip, you was telling me how this couple weeks or a couple months you was just like really locked in on yourself. We can get into this, like really just being disciplined and kind of staying away from women. And my biggest thing is, I was talking to my brother about this. I believe that every man should go a period of his life without women in their life, without constant contact with women. Because when you have these constant interactions with women, you think you got this constant access to sex and whatnot. You start to feel like you done made it, but that's not the case. You just you just indulging in constant sexual pleasure. So what's your take on fellas kind of stepping away from women, not just disregarding, but kind of stepping back and just being in your own little world and focusing on yourself?
Well, I would say a woman's natural nature is to nurture you. Absolutely. So to make you feel kind of good, right. To make sure that, you're not too down on yourself, but sometimes you need those hard rock bottom places where it's nothing but the struggle. Yeah. And it's not really a struggle. Like I said, it's the process. So, but it's nothing but just a baseline of like, man, I really don't have anything. So let me start from ground zero. So whether that's like being a college student, come back home and having to stay with your parents, whether you get out of high school and you got to stay with your parents until you kind of stack up enough money and stack up enough funds to where you can get your own place, whether you are saving up for a car or saving up for, just to provide for yourself. For our generation and the younger men, I would say being able to say no to the women. And I know what it sounds like. It sounds like, I can't have no sexual interaction. I can't. But what it really
we ain't policing you.
Yeah, I'm not a success coach. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But what it really does is you realize in that time frame that you are the priority and you have a purpose. And those things will come later on in life. The bigger house will come later on in life. The woman of your dreams, she's going to come because you have prioritized the things that you want to do, the things that you set yourself out to be. And it's basically just showing that you're so much more than a nice car or a nice house. Like you've prioritized where my focus is going to be, where I'm going to align my vision and align my assets is going to help me. Like you really get to know yourself when you start to, and it may not be women. Mm-hmm. For you, it may be going out with friends.
Find your vice, exactly.
You may, what I'm saying, you may go out to the club, have too many drinks. Now all your money gone that you saved up to move out your parents' house. This day and age, it could be so many things. And allowing yourself the time to really get to know yourself and really get to know what your vice is, like you said, what your vice is crucial in the developmental phase of your life. And why not do it in your 20s when you're not necessarily obligated to do, the things that a 50-year-old, 40-year-old is supposed to do. I would say to the young people that don't have children, you're obligated to yourself first. And you want to make sure that you have prioritized yourself, but not only have you prioritized yourself, but you allow people to know that you're prioritizing yourself.
Right.
And sometimes people aren't, they ain't on that path.
That's fact. And one thing we done peeped is a lot of people spend so much time, money, and energy trying to stay in the mix, trying to stay relative. You know what I'm saying? Stay keeping these same connections, but it's like, you're burning out while simultaneously trying to keep up with all these people, keep up with these lifestyles, keep up with somebody's spending habits. You burning out. So there's no way to really prioritize yourself if you constantly in the mix, constantly trying to impress people, constantly, you know what I'm saying, trying to have this outside validation. When you have that inside validation, bro, we barely put drip on like this. We just put drip, like, you know what I'm saying? It's just,
I have clothes on and had nowhere to go.
Right. It's just like when you comfortable with yourself, when you got that inner validation. I mean, not to say outer validation don't be cool. Like, it still feel good sometimes, but it don't be a necessity. Like, it don't be something that you need, right? So getting to the next point I want to speak on, discipline. And over these past 3 years, I really been locking in on myself, learning about myself. Like anybody who know me, I kind of really done these past 2-3 years. I kind of really like been in my own little circle. I kind of speak to the same type of people, you know. So, discipline, man. These past 3 years I've been big on discipline and especially sexual discipline. I started retention. I got into celibacy a little bit, and the differences I've seen in myself is off the wall. And I tell anybody, like, I could tell you the benefits of it and all that, because people always want to know benefits and stuff. I'm just like, bro, just look at me now compared to, if you knew me then, just look at me compared to now. That's all I be having to tell people. It's a completely different person, and you step into a whole different paradigm. And I mentioned sexual discipline, but discipline across the board, because when you start practicing discipline in one lane, it spans across a bunch of different lanes. So what's some aspects you've been disciplined in?
I would say being a collegiate football player and being able to kind of wake up and have a regimen every single day, I love discipline. And I won't say that I love it in the fact that I've been able to self-discipline myself all the time. It usually comes from a higher power, a person of seniority and stuff like that. But at the same time, it takes some self-discipline to get up and go to a 6 a.m. workout. I've had teammates sleep. They can go out the night before, get drunk. They don't want to go. They don't want to work out. Right. So, I mean, in ways that I think I've basically been able to try to teach myself how to discipline myself, because, like I said, it's always been a coach or a parental figure or someone of higher power disciplining me. I say recently, I got into fasting. Okay. And that's one of the things. Man.
Hey, that fast, it tests you, bro.
This is probably the hardest, like, and I won't even say hardest. I say this is probably the most challenging thing that I've done since football. And I'm trying to find ways to challenge myself, trying to find ways to kind of push myself to the point of being a successful being and being a successful young adult. And so fasting was, for me, I have a set period of what I eat, when I eat. I tried a 2-day fast. I think I got up to, I want to say 52 hours with no food, strictly water. And in that time frame, man, I learned a lot about myself.
You have to. It puts you on the path, like, no choice, like, it makes you really sit, because you know you're not about to eat that day. So it's like, you ain't thinking about food. And if you are, you still ain't going to get no. So it's like, okay, what else can I put on my mind that I'm actually going to work toward? So it forces you to really, like, okay, let me sit down and just think, learn, read.
Then I started to open my mind, like, okay, how much time do I really spend just eating? You spend a lot of time just looking for food. Yeah, just the consumption is crazy at that point. So then I'm thinking, like, dang, what do I need to do? So boom, I go to the gym or something. And then it's like, okay, well, that was only like 2 hours.
Right, exactly.
I still got, 24 hours to go? I still got, things I need to do. Let me apply to jobs. Right. I'm unemployed at the moment, but I'm looking for employment because like I said, I'm finishing my master's and stuff like that. So boom, let me put in some job applications. Let me call my cousin that's in consulting. Let me call my uncle that can mentor me.
Networking,
you find out that it's so many things in so many ways, and people that are here to help you to put your mind elsewhere. Right. Other than just, like you said, consumption. Right. And then I started to realize, really what got to me is what I was consuming on social media.
Hey, I was just about to. Hey, we beat me right to it, bro. That because a lot of people when they think of fashion, they just think of food, but fashion it's broad across a different array of things.
I was in a vulnerable state. It's a vulnerable state for you because you're not consuming food. You're not consuming the thing that drives you, and I can't get into the whole biology of it, and I can't necessarily. I know you burn fat,
Right? Yeah, for sure.
I know you burn fat,
For
and so I was getting into it to the point where, like, after that first day, it's just like, man, I don't even like the people I follow.
Bro, a lot of stuff rub you the wrong. You're like, what is, bro, get this on my timeline, bro.
This doesn't really align with where I want to be.
Exactly, your higher self, right.
So it's things like that where, like, discipline is just a thing that you have to put yourself through, and you're the only person that's going to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, right.
There's no one else going to reap the benefits of you disciplining yourself.
Yep.
Excuse me. It's no one else. It's you are literally tapping into your inner being.
Facts.
And with every fiber in your being, you have to be able to say no to whatever it is that you're trying not to be or trying not to do. And it gets lonely.
Oh,
me and him don't talk every day.
Right. We get on the camera, it probably look like we talk every day. But we 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Before that, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's times where he'll go maybe a month without talking to me, but we are very much connected.
Fact,
always on the same.
We on that frequency, bro.
Exactly. Always on the same vibration, but at times you have to allow your friends and allow your people that you love to be able to reach their higher self.
Right.
And sometimes it's lonely. It's, as a friend, you see him, kind of standoffish, and not necessarily standoffish, but he's working on himself. So I allow him space to work on himself. And you can't really say you're a friend if you don't do that.
Right. And what I realized, a lot of people take that personal, like when somebody kind of isolates themselves for their betterment. They don't isolate themselves to, try to get away from that person. They're strictly isolating themselves to uplift themselves. A lot of people take that personal, and it's kind of like, do you really want the best for that person if you take that person being in isolation personal?
But then it goes into, it gets a negative connotation because people use it when they're breaking up with their girlfriends.
Facts.
I gotta focus on football. I gotta really focus on school right now. Man, everything's really and that's not necessarily what they mean. They're not trying to. I can't speak for everyone, but if I'm saying that I need the space and I need the time to kind of internalize how I'm feeling, assess my problems, and then implement my plan on how I'm doing.
That's the thing. It's a whole process to it, bro. It ain't just one step.
I'm not distancing myself to go mess off with somebody else. I'm not disciplining myself. I'm not distancing myself to, let me go. I don't want to spend time with you. Let's not go out tonight because I'm finna call somebody else.
Yeah, nah. I ain't finna talk. I ain't finna be around nobody.
I'm not finna. I don't even want to talk to myself.
You feel me? Like, I just want to be quiet, at peace. Like
some days you wake up and you don't even want to. I ain't said a word to myself. One day I woke up, man. I ain't said a word to myself for at least, I'd say 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
Nobody was around me. It was days in college where I woke up in my dorm room. I didn't turn on the TV. I didn't pick up my phone. I just sat there.
But like we talked about, so many people have meaningless dialogue just to talk. A lot of people don't know how to just be in peace, be in a quiet space. It disrupts them. You know what I'm saying? People who not peaceful, peace disrupts them. So a lot of chaotic people like being chaotic crowd. They like being in the mix because they don't know how to be still. They don't know how to tap into self. When they tap into self, they start pulling back them layers. And a lot of people got some dark layers and they don't want to pull back. And they keep pushing it back. They keep going out, being in the turn up. You know what I'm saying? Because it nullifies it temporarily nullifies their issue that they're going through.
That's a bar.
Yeah, bro.
That's a bar.
I'm gonna get into this next point. Finances, dealing with finances in your building years, because when you really, for instance, I'm an entrepreneur and everybody think it's like so lit to be an entrepreneur, like it look good on the outside looking in, but entrepreneurship is a monster. Caleb no, Sid no. Entrepreneurship is a monster, bro. And a lot of people and I get it, and I appreciate the applause from people that because I like to motivate people, and a lot of people get motivation from seeing me doing my entrepreneurship thing. But just being real, like it be dark days. Like your income not consistent. You be having to stick and move. You get testy. You start to question yourself. Then the next day you back at it. Then you might question yourself again that day. So it's just just even in your case, coming out of college, still working on your master's, like it's a financial pull that come with that. And a lot of guys who don't got their finances together, like we talked about, they be out trying to be on the turn up, trying to impress women, but it's like that's not the time yet, bro.
It's not the time. And what are you impressing them with?
That's what I'm saying. And whatever you impressing them with, you burning out because you can't match whatever you bringing in to what your output is. That's input output, simple.
I would say, and I can't speak from a entrepreneur aspect, but I was watching this video today and it was just saying, and forgive me for using the term broke because no man is broke. I don't like when people say that, but I use it sometimes. But when you're broke as a man, as a young man, you oftentimes, that's when you'll try to distance yourself, but that wasn't the time to try to distance yourself right there. You were supposed to distance yourself when you had a little bit of income or you had something flowing, and then you're supposed to really try to hone in on that and make it work. But see, most people, they get a little shine. Like you said, you get a little bit of gratification, and then you think, okay, here come the fame, here come the clout, here come all that extra
We done
stuff.
seen it multiple occasions in different fields, bro.
That was time for you to dive deeper into what you was doing.
Telling you.
That was time. And I can relate it to football. When I saw a little bit of kind of like, how do I put this? When I saw a little bit of gratification coming in, a little bit of static around my name, oftentimes...
You kind of you fell back even more,
man,
like, for real.
Oftentimes somebody would have been like, man, I'm the man.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm chilling. Nope. You got to kind of, all right, cool. So then that's when I decided this past season to kind of like distance myself away from social media because I didn't want to see how much other people were doing. I didn't want to see who had stats where or what they was doing. And it's kind of just blocking out the noise, putting your blinders on. You have to do that in a time where you may not be where you want to be. And just because you get a little light doesn't mean that's the only light you're going to get.
Facts.
You can get more light. You can get more things. It's more. You closer to just because you see a little gold, it means more down there. But see, y'all stop digging sometimes, and you done left $3-4 million down there. So it's just like being where it's by yourself and you kind of broke. I understand now you don't want to talk to nobody, or now you kind of like you ain't in the mood. But see, you done got into a relationship to where now you obligated to be with a person. Now you obligated to kind of like be their happiness, be their peace, and you not yourself.
Exactly.
Because
you can't even be your best version for that person.
Because I saw a video literally on TikTok today, man. Somebody sent me a video. They said a man is not able to give a woman, and this is for a lot of young men, a man is not able to give a woman exactly what she needs unless he's comfortable financially.
100.
And whatever that may look like for you. Yeah. It may be.
That's just the reality of it. Like, we live in a capitalist system. Like, that's just what it is.
That's what it's going to be. So that goes back to getting yourself together. You have to get yourself together. I know personally, I'm not trying to seriously date anyone right now because I know for a fact I am not the best version of myself. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to get caught up in trying to be the best version of myself to where I don't find the love of my life.
Yeah, right.
The woman I want to marry. But at the same time, I know I could be so much better. And it's knowing that you could be so much better, you have to be able to kind of say, okay, well, this good right now, and she's a pretty woman, and she's everything that you need. But it's not the time right now.
It's that threshold you want to get yourself to before you even think about trying to jump into that.
It gives you the confidence. It gives you the confidence to know that, okay, I know what I'm bringing to the table.
What?
And I know what I have in my life path. Then you offer her a chance, or it could be a friend. You offer them a chance to come in your life and say, okay, this is my program. This is what I'm on. How you fit in.
Right.
And if you with the program,
are you in alignment with it?
Cool, let's go. Let's be friends.
Exactly.
Let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's turn up. Let's have a good time. If you're not in alignment, we're way out.
And there's no hard feelings either. It's just
it shouldn't be. It
shouldn't be. That's
But oftentimes,
oftentimes
we know how it goes.
Man, oftentimes it is, and it's such a tragedy because it's like it didn't even have to be like that.
It's no reason why it should be hard feelings though, because
somebody's ego is getting involved. That's what it is.
I was just about to say that.
Somebody's ego is getting
it's
involved.
Somebody that feels like they should be the center of your happiness or your attention or your personality and not add to it.
Right.
And a friend, a significant other is the only person. They're there to help you add to whatever you're doing. Not subtract. Yeah, not subtract. Not take away anything. Not take your attention away from what you're doing. And then, of course, when you get married, I'm not speaking from experience. I've never been married.
Right,
but
right.
When you get married, of course, there's gives and takes and stuff like that. When you're really into, you know what I'm saying, somebody, it's gives and takes. So I understand that, but if you're not on the program,
it don't make sense to follow through with it.
And I just recently talked to my uncle who's a Kappa, and he just kind of ran it down with me. Like,
word.
Man, he just like, man, nowadays, like, hey, Kobe, set yourself up to where you got something going, and if somebody comes in the lines with it, cool. If they don't
waste no time on it, bro.
It's no point.
Because what I've seen a lot of people who know they're not alignment with a certain individual, they'll think, okay, maybe I can work around and force it. But if it don't align, if it don't flow, if you forcing anything, bro, you shouldn't be forcing anything in life, bro.
And that's what comes with knowing who you are and your focus, because it'll show.
Yeah.
Like that. Like, it'll show. As soon as you come in, like, you can put on that nice person front, or I'm with you and stuff like that. But it goes down to people like this. My mother told me this, and it sticks with me to this day. She says there's people that are for what you're for. There's people that are against what you're against. And there's people that's just for you.
Yeah.
And the first two will disguise themselves as your friends, people that's trying to help you. But the third person is your true friend. Oh, really? You don't have to talk to them every day. You don't have to be around them all the time. Y'all don't have to turn up every day.
It's authentic.
It's whatever you doing, let's do it.
Yeah.
We together.
Like with this pod, people don't know. We was talking about this podcast back when we graduated. We just let time go so we could have things to talk about once it was time. And you put up on me what was it? You put up on me in January or February? Whatever the months.
I think I came like late January.
I think it was late January. You pulled up. You was like, "Hey, bro, whenever you ready, I'm ready." I said, "Say let's do it."
Let's do it.
I made the logo the next day, and it was just like that. But things like that, you can tell when things be in alignment because it flowed so easily. It wasn't I wasn't pulling back or you weren't pulling back. None of us was like trying to half step it. We was 2 feet in with it.
Because you got to find those people that you align with. Right. You got to find those people that are in your circle that have been there and they stay there. No matter how rocky it get, no matter how it may look to others. We always say this, man, we wasn't the coolest people in high school. We wasn't with the nerds, so we wasn't with the cool people.
Everybody. We was cool with everybody, bro.
We was just flowing.
Yeah, flowing, bro.
And we can connect with whoever we connect with, man. If y'all come, y'all come. If y'all go.
And that's a skill too, bro. That's a skill to be able to flow with different crowds and different people, because that take you far in life. You can operate in different rooms that a lot of people who, only want to be around a certain crowd, they're limited to only operating in those certain rooms. When you able to reach out to different cultures, different races, man, I'll be out in Fayetteville. They love me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you're able to flow with different people in different crowds.
Your name ring bells.
Telling you.
It ring bells. So.
And one thing you talked about, I want to harp on, you said something about people getting to a certain point and thinking they made it. Ooh. And I always tell people, you don't peak in life unless you accept that's your peak. Like, you get to a certain point in life, and once you get to that, whatever part of life you get into, that certain height, and if you accept it as, okay, this is the biggest I'm gonna be, then that will play it out into your reality. That's the biggest, you know what I'm saying? That's the highest you will rise. But even if you get to the highest of the highest you think, and you like, nah, this ain't it, that won't be it. You know what I'm saying? Even you might take a fall down after that, just because you think you fell off. And that's another thing. If you've accepted that you fell off, then you've fallen off. The mind is is the motor to the whole thing. So once your mind accepts something as truth, then it plays out into your reality. It's a visual reflection into the real world.
Strong-minded people connect with other strong-minded people.
Right.
And a strong-minded individual don't care who sees his vision.
Nah.
Don't care who see her vision. Whatever it is, it's going to happen. Whether the people say they falling off, whether they see they don't never see is
never.
I'm down bad.
Ever, bro.
Bumping the road. Don't worry about it. This is a bumping. They'll say to themselves, "This is a bump in the road. I'll be back." Y'all, because once you get knocked down, y'all not gonna keep me down.
Nah.
And nobody gonna keep me down.
This is part of the journey.
I am who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be.
And I know where I need to get to. And you can either come with me, or you can get out the way. But I'm gonna get there. And that's why I tell a lot of people don't understand that the type of people we are. If you with us or not, we still gonna get there.
We still gonna get there.
This train don't stop.
We don't care who on the bus.
Nah.
You can join us. You cannot join us, man. We don't care.
It's gonna keep moving. The train gonna keep moving.
Because life goes on.
Life goes on, bro.
And the problem is everybody want to be the main character.
Boy,
I just said something right there.
The main character syndrome is a real thing, bro. And you know what's so crazy? I don't realize a lot of people who and I don't even like using the term, but a lot of people who really are the main characters, they don't even move around like that, bro.
They don't even want to be the main character.
Bro, because it's just like, they really just being them. But a lot of people who proclaim to be the main character, it's like, what do you really have to show for that in real life? What are your real life value?
The main character will let somebody else have the role.
Every time, because they know what it comes with, all that attention. They're like, okay, you can have that. Like, as long as I'm really good in life,
I don't care.
I'm cool on the cloud. I'm cool on being the main character, all that.
I'm cool on y'all giving me the attention. I don't want the attention. I got self-gratification.
It take you far too.
I don't need anybody else to tell me I'm doing well. I know I'm doing well.
Right.
I don't need anybody to tell me it was a bad investment. I know it was a bad investment.
Right, exactly.
I'm analyzing myself daily. I know what my vices are. I know the good I've done. I know what's gonna come. And you may not always know what's gonna come, but you know what will transpire later on for you for doing the things that you've done.
Right.
So you don't need those things.
Exactly. Even with the investment, you don't know it's a bad investment until you take that risk, take that chance.
You gotta take
and a lot of things I done realized with people, people always talking about, and I see this in the entrepreneur space a lot. People always say, take that chance, take that risk. But a lot of people, I think people have adopted a mindset to thinking that just because you take that risk, it ain't gonna always be a W on the other side of that risk.
Nope.
It's gonna be a lot of times you take that risk and it feel like the right move, everything.
It can be calculated.
Bro, I just been so many moves I done calculated. I'm like, it's the one. Didn't come out hot. But just because you taking them risks, that don't mean it's gonna always be on the W on the other side. But a lot of people have adopted that thinking, if I take this chance, it's my time. Nah, you gotta go through that journey.
And I go back to, with that being said, I go back to social media showed you the highlights.
Yep.
Showed you a highlight reel of everybody's life.
Yep.
It seems all good. And don't get me wrong, I don't have nothing. I'm on TikTok. That's about the only social media I have now. I got kind of tired of watching everybody on Instagram. I kind of got tired of
I feel that, bro.
Everybody spewing out their thoughts on Twitter. I kind of got tired of that.
I've been got through it too, bro.
I got tired of that. It was a little bit poisonous to my brain.
Mm-hmm.
Not for everybody, not cool. So I just say knowing how and what to go about with just viewing people's lives and how they are on social media, knowing what's real and what's fake. And social media draws a very thin line between those two.
Right. That's the interesting point, because a lot of people your age, they're not in the space to where they can go without an Instagram. They can go without a Twitter. So what's some of the things you've learned while being off of Instagram, off of Twitter, off of social media as compared to when you were on it? Because you in a whole different paradigm. Even for me, you in a whole different paradigm.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. It's so many opportunities on social media. So many ways you can utilize it to
100.
make money, to monetize yourself and everything.
Majority of people aren't, though. Majority of users aren't monetizing.
And most of the users are consumers. Mm-hmm. And so once I realized that I was more so on the consumer aspect of it and not the monetizing aspect of it, I didn't want any parts of it. Only because when I do get back into the mode of I'll be on social media and I want to be able to leverage it to either build my brand, and by my brand I mean myself, either connect and help people out in a way that I see fit, or just being a consumer, but at a moderate rate.
Right.
I don't want to be the person that's on
social media is controlling you. Exactly. A lot of social media controls a lot of people.
3 a.m.
Mindlessly.
I'm not doing nothing.
Yeah, they just mindlessly scrolling.
I can sleep.
Exactly.
So
meditating, all that.
It's so much stuff you could be doing. And once I realized that, I said, okay, well, let me just at least dial it down. So now I only have one social media app on there. I only go on TikTok in case I want to give my mind a little break from, a little bit of reality. But I know that the things I'm seeing on there aren't real.
Mm-hmm.
And I know these aren't people's real life. And some of them may be. But I know for a fact that it's not my path and it's not with my alignment. So then I can take it as a joke. Or when somebody spew their crazy thought of, I don't know, they hate Dave Chappelle.
Right,
I don't know. Then I could just say, okay, yeah, that's just somebody talking.
Yeah, whatever. But what's it's impressive though that you're able to be real with yourself about that.
Oh, I
a lot of people. Yeah, but that's it. You work through that. A lot of people
I've been off of it for 3 months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Since it'll be 3 months. It'll be going on 4 months in April. I've been off of it for 3 months, man. Like off those two, and those were the two I was really on.
Right.
Like, I was on those two heavy. Man, I've done so much more with my time, like physically with my health.
Mm-hmm.
Going to the gym, I spend more time in the gym. I spend more time asleep. I've been able to sleep better. I've been able to kind of eat better.
Facts.
What are the other things? Man,
it's so much, bro.
When I get on my phone now, I get on LinkedIn.
Bar. Big fact.
I get on LinkedIn. The first thing I check is my email, see if any new opportunities, and I get on LinkedIn. And then by that time, I look at my phone line. It's only about 3 or 4 people to text me, and 2 of them my brothers. Fact. The other one is you.
Yeah, fact. When I hear my phone ding, I already have an idea of who hit me, and if somebody else, it's a surprise.
And so the real thing about that is, once I got off social media, I really and let me not say social media. Once I got off Instagram,
yeah, I'm already knowing. I already knew.
I got about 4 messages in my phone unread, and I know who they from. I used to have about 20 messages a day. What you doing? Oh, I just saw you here. Da-da-da-da. And I was like, man, I'm posting too much of my personal life.
Yeah.
So little stuff like that, I ain't gonna get too much into it. Right. Everybody ain't ready for that.
Yeah. So, man, closing remarks. When you building years, man, focus on yourself. Be in alignment with the people that surround you. Focus on your health, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, and don't be in a rush to be that guy, bro. If you doing your thing, you on your path, you gonna align and be that guy. So
you that guy for waking up in the morning. You that guy for going to handle your business. You that guy if you go to a 9 to 5. You that guy for going to a 9 to 5.
Bar.
You are that guy. Do not let nobody highlights on social media, nobody get in your ear tell you ain't him. You are him. You wake up every day and handle yours. You him. I don't care what nobody say.
It's all perception. And with that, this has been the first episode of Paradigms and Perspectives podcast. And we're going to see you on the next episode. Peace.